Hey y'all, it is Monday, and guess what came over the weekend? My A2Z EV NACS to CCS adapter. Yes, it is here, and we're going to unbox it. And also, the Biden administration is talking about delaying tailpipe emissions rules that were meant to spur EV sales. Chinese car makers, EV makers, are beating Europeans at their own game. And is EA actually getting better? Well, it's Monday, February 19th, 2024. Let's get to it. Hey y'all, happy Monday, and it is a happy Monday because over the weekend, my NACS to CCS adapter came. I didn't think I would get it till later this week because it was shipping from California like late last week. So didn't expect it as quick as it came, but it's here and it's very, very exciting. Even though I'm not really going to be able to use it just yet, but as soon as Polestar 2 is ready to go on Tesla superchargers, I don't have to wait for an adapter. So let's open this thing up. Now, it's not all that exciting because this, as it is, just came in a just a brown cardboard box with some bubble wrap on it. So I didn't think we really need to go through the whole true unboxing. So it has this kind of cool carrying case. It's like sort of fake leather almost, sort of feeling. Has the user manual and the adapter itself. And it's got some nice padding inside this case, which is great because this is going to fit like right in the back of the Polestar 2, right in the trunk. Right in the little netting area, so it'll be right there whenever I need it. So this thing, it's actually, it's got some weight to it. It's probably a couple pounds, and it's solid. It doesn't feel hollow or cheap or crappy. And the true test is the Tom Malogny latch test that he always does, right? That this thing, I can't bend it. It's plastic, but at least it feels plastic. I don't think it's metal. Oh, it might be. This might actually, no, I think this is actually metal. But like, I'm sure if I put like a ton of force on here, I could probably bend it, but not with my hands. I would need like a tool. I would need something to bend this with. So it's nice and solid. This latch is really good. So the way this thing works, according to the user manual, is there's a little locking mechanism down here. So you plug your NACS cable in, you lock it. There's like a sliding lock right down here, which will lock the NACS cable in, which makes sense because you don't want it to be able to pull out. And then you plug into your CCS port. So pretty simple, right? And the only thing is it's in the user manual. It does say that you should do not stop charging. You see that? Do not stop charging by unsliding the bottom lock. So I don't know. I guess that means you probably can unslide the lock while the cable's plugged in. But obviously you wouldn't want to do that. You would want to stop the charge either with the app or with your car, and then pull out your adapter, pull it out of the CCS port, and then unlock and take the NACS cable and put it back. So it's basically, you put the NACS cable in, lock it, plug it in, unplug, unlock, NACS cable goes back. So pretty simple. And like I said, it doesn't feel like cheap caca. So that's good. It feels well made. So even these pins, I mean, this stuff, it's pretty solid. I mean, this would be hard to break, I think. I won't do it, but I'm pretty sure I could probably drop this and it wouldn't break. But I don't want to try that. And then, the user manual is just, simple fold out. But they make it pretty clear in here that this is not compatible with level 1 or 2 charging, which makes sense. I'd hope people would understand that, but there's probably people out there that would not know that or would think that they could use it that way. And it'll only work on, it will not work on a V1 and V2 supercharger, which most of us already know that. And it will not work on DC chargers retrofitted with a CHAdeMO adapter. And it's intended only for Tesla superchargers and NACS third-party DC chargers, which we'll start to see a lot more of, I think, very, very soon. So that's all good. The only caveat to all of this, to me, I think, is, at least as far as I could find online, I don't know if it's been announced. I haven't seen it. I don't know, is Tesla going to allow third-party adapters? I think Tom Malogny had a video about this where he was kind of asking that question. And I don't think that the manufacturers even know, because A2Z makes this one and Electron has one on sale. I don't know if anybody else does, but if they do, they're probably junk from China. I think these are the only two companies that have quality adapters. And this is made in China, but it's not like junk that I order off of Alibaba or anything like that. This is solid. At least it feels solid and pretty well made. So, but will Tesla allow these? That's going to be the question, because I'm sure Tesla's going to have their own branded adapter like they do for the CCS to NACS. And, Ford said that they're going to be giving away adapters to Ford EV owners. So will that be from Tesla? Will they be basically buying the Tesla branded adapter and sending them out to their customers, or will they be producing them on their own, possibly subcontracting a company like A2Z or Electron or somebody like that? So will Tesla allow these, or will it be locked to only Tesla-made adapters or adapters that you get direct from the OEMs? I don't know. That's sort of up in the air. So if Tesla won't allow these, it's basically going to be a £200 or $200 paperweight, but hopefully they will. But I think, and I don't know, I'm sure maybe in the future, when most public charging infrastructure is NACS only, let's say 10 years from now, you could probably use this on a non-Tesla NACS charger. But, today, if you have a CCS vehicle and you roll up to a EA station, they don't really have NACS. So I don't know why you would use that there. But so I guess we'll see. That's really the only remaining question for me, is whether or not Tesla will allow it. I'm going to take it down to the Magic Dock site and just try it out, see if, pull the Tesla cable out, plug it into that, see what happens. I don't think it'll work. I'm sure it won't, but, it's fun, a little experiment to try. So the adapter's here and very exciting. So the other stuff going on today, I saw that the Biden administration is going to delay tailpipe emissions rules, or at least they're talking about it. And those rules were really made to spur sales of EVs, right? Now, obviously, being an environmental type person, I support tailpipe emissions rules because a cleaner environment is better for everybody. However, I don't like the heavy hand of government either. And I don't know that delaying these rules or not delaying these rules is going to make much of a difference when it comes to EV sales. I think EV sales should not be determined by the government. It should be, market driven. Let the market decide. And I think when they do things like this, like they force things like this, it gets, again, the anti-EV people get all riled up, and, it turns them off to EVs, when I think if you just let the market go, if, charging infrastructure is going to increase in 2024 and into 2025. We're going to see way more charging going into the ground. Both DC fast charging and level 2, I think, are going to start to become somewhat ubiquitous everywhere. And when that happens, I think people that are sort of on the fence about EVs, those people will start to tilt, because they'll realize, oh, I can charge. I don't have to worry about charging. I see chargers everywhere I go. I go to Target, I go to Walmart, I go out to dinner, I go to work. They'll start to see chargers everywhere and feel less anxious about it, and realize you can put them in your house, get some nice incentives for doing so. And, charging is not a big deal. When you can park your car in your garage when you get home from work, or when you get home at night, plug it in, and the next morning it's full. Again, I just, if nothing else, that's like one of the greatest things about EVs. Not to mention the fact that they're more fun to drive, they're quiet, they don't pollute, more power. They're just better all around. But I don't think anyone should be forced into it. It should be the decision of the consumer. If you want an EV, buy one. If you don't. At some point, the market is going to decide. I think, if you look at what's happening in Europe, Norway specifically, eventually you're going to get to a point where there's not a lot of ICE cars being made anymore. But, I just think it should be driven by the market and the consumer, not by the government. But when you look over in Europe now, the Chinese EV makers like BYD, NIO, XPeng, they're starting to kick butt over there. And, those cars aren't allowed in the U.S. because of tariffs. But in Europe, they're starting to outdo the BMWs and the Mercedes and the VWs of Europe. Seems like mostly Germans, Volvo as well. People are starting to realize that the Chinese make a solid product. Now, I think 30 years ago, if someone had said, "Oh, something was made in China," they would have considered it to be junk, right? But because we've offshored so much of our manufacturing to China over the last 30 years, not just the US, but the whole world, they've gotten really, really good at making stuff, like really good at it. And they can do it cheaper than we can. And, at some point, I think a lot of these Chinese automakers are going to get into the US market because it's going to become harder and harder to keep them out. And, that's not good news for the American car manufacturers. However, that's not great. I don't like that. I'm an America First guy, right? But I also want the best stuff. So, if you look at Tesla, Rivian, Lucid, really well-made stuff, right? They're all American made. That's all good. And that's what we want more of. I think, the GMs and the Fords of the world need to catch up with that kind of quality level, not just the vehicle quality and the fit and the finish, but the tech inside. That's kind of GM's kind of, shortcoming right now. And the fact that they want to get rid of CarPlay is crazy to me. Like, I think that's going to hurt them. But I want America to be number one. I mean, I'm an American. I'm from here. I want USA, baby. I'm all for it. But we've really got to start paying attention because these Chinese EV makers are really, really good. And we need to be better in the U.S. And I think we can be. And I mean, you look at Rivians, they're really well built. Lucid, really well built, but also very expensive. We need better, lower cost, more affordable, well-made EVs in the U.S. That's what's going to make people want to buy them. Right now it's all about they're too expensive and there's not enough charging. And those two things are kind of still true. The prices are coming down. Tesla has really spurred that on, and the charging is going to get better. But we still need more. We still need more affordable EVs, and we need more charging. And we will rule the world, and that's really where we should be, right? And then I saw Clean Technica, I believe it was, did a study. They were sort of looking at EA stations, and EA had started replacing some of their power modules because I think they realized that was one of their biggest issues with their chargers going down, is that the power modules, especially on the older stations, when they first got installed, there weren't a lot of non-Teslas out there going to EA, but as more and more and more have hit the road, more people are using them, putting them under stress more, those old power modules are starting to fail. And they started replacing them. And so Clean Technica sort of checked out like the LA to Phoenix route to see what are they seeing for reports on EA charging stations. And it's encouraging. It's not great, but it does seem like they're getting a little bit better. Now, it's going to depend on whether those power modules have been, upgraded in each particular station. And I think EA has kind of put more focus on doing that than building out new stations. But that's okay, because even though we need more charging, we also need charging that works. And I think if EA gets to a point where they can even approach Tesla's level of uptime, just with what they have now, it'll be fantastic. And with EVgo and Pilot Flying J coming along, a lot of these NEVI chargers going into the ground this year, the Tesla supercharger network opening up to non-Teslas, all that is going to make charging so much better for the average, EV driver, whether you're driving a Tesla or not. And, I think that will, and that is spurring EA to get with the program and get their stuff working much better. So I think it's all good. That's all good. Obviously it's going to take them a little while because they do have a lot of stations out there and they do have a lot of upgrading to do. Now, the other thing is to upgrade, make sure their software is good, and that when people report broken cables, that kind of thing, that they're out there fixing them within 24 hours. I would say 48 hours at the max. Like, that stuff just needs to be fixed. If you get a report, you got a broken cable, get out there and fix it. You know, you should only need one call with someone and one picture sent into you that shows a broken cable, and get somebody out there to fix it. That's what Tesla does, and that's the only way to catch up to them, is to be as good as them. So yeah, that's it for today. That's all I got. That and a sleeping kitty back there. So I will be doing some more videos on the NACS to CCS adapter. You know, like I said, I'll sometime this week I'll try to get down the Magic Dock and just see what happens, and I'll of course document it. And then you know, when the superchargers open up for Polestar, I should be ready to go, and we'll test them out. I can't wait. Very exciting times in the EV world. It's going to be quite the year. I think sales might not be as rapid a climb this year. I think it's going to level off a little bit. But as we see the charging infrastructure get better into 2025, especially the second half of 25 and into 26, I think sales are going to take off again. So yeah, good times. So just remember, as always, EVs are awesome, and it is okay to be awesome. I'll see you guys next time.